Okay.
I'm not sure if you're audible.
Yeah, yeah. Am I audible to you? Yes, fine. So, children, listen carefully. We are going to discuss about what do you mean by work. Children, you guys heard already your parents were telling have done a lot of work today. Some of your parents were doing some IT company jobs and all, isn't it? They were sitting in the same place and they were doing something in the laptop, isn't it? So they will tell a lot of work are done today, isn't it? Isn't it? So in physics, I will teach you what do you mean by work. So at the end of this chapter only you realize what your parents was telling really it's a work or it is nothing but no work. Understood? So children listen carefully. What do you mean by work in physics? Children, work is done. That means if you are applying a small force or if you are applying a force, because of that force, a body is able to move. Then that condition, we call it as work. Understood? You consider a particular body, one box you consider. Understood? This is nothing but a box. Now, I am applying a small force to this box and this box is able to move. Then I can call it as work is done. Understood? So, in order to consider work is done, there are two conditions needed. The first condition is nothing but there should be a force acting. Understood? There should be force should be acting. Second one is nothing but there should be displacement. Understood? So, children, what do you mean by work? Work is nothing but when you apply a force to a body, and because of the force acting, that body is able to move. Then only you can say that work is done. So, when I apply a small force to this particular body and this box, sorry, you consider this as a box. Understood? Now I am applying a small force to this box and this box is able to move. Then I can call this box is in work. Understood? This box has done work. Understood? Any doubts? Now, the same thing I'm applying here. This is nothing but a wall, isn't it? I am applying around 100 Newton force here. I'm applying around 100 Newton force here, but the wall is not moving away. So force is there, but no displacement. So can you say that work is done? No. So if we want to consider work is done, there should be force and displacement, or force and that body should move. Understood? So if I consider this wall, I'm applying force, isn't it? But there is no motion for this particular wall. So here, no work is done. But when I consider that particular box and all, I can say that work is done. Any doubts? Any doubts? So what are the necessary and sufficient condition for work done? First one, there should be force acting. Because of that particular force, that body should move. Understood? If there is no motion, you're applying 100 Newton or 1000 Newton force. If there is no motion, then you can say no work is done. Any doubts? Now, certain examples I'm giving children. A horse pulling a cart. When a horse pulling a cart, the horse is applying force on the cart, isn't it? Also, there is motion. Am I right? So I can say 100% work is done in that condition. Second one, when a boy hits the ball, when a boy hits the boy is applying force on that ball, isn't it? And that ball is moving. Am I right? There is force, there is displacement. The boy is applying the force and the ball is getting the displacement. The boy is moving away, isn't it? So I can say in that condition also work is done. Third one is nothing but a person pushing a ball. What happened? No work is done. You guys have seen some movies and all. Some villain and coming hitting the hero. That hero will be standing like this only. Am I right? So under that condition, you should say that no work is done. Why? That villain is applying a lot of force towards that hero's body, but that hero's body is not done under that condition. Any doubts? Is it okay? Everyone understood? Okay, fine. So now we are going to talk about another important concept related to work. Children, work is done under what condition? When there is a force and there is a motion, isn't it? Now I am telling you, you can consider a body has done work when there is a force and there is a change in shape or size. Children, you guys see now, certain people are squeezing that particular toothpaste and all, squeezing and all. You done? You seen? You guys are doing? Okay. So you guys have seen that particular process, isn't it? Squeezing a particular toothpaste like this. Am I right? So that squeezing moment, That particular person is providing a lot of force towards that toothpaste, right? So applying a lot of force, and also the shape or size of that toothpaste is also changing, isn't it? So that condition also you can call it as work is done. So I can say that work is also done by a force if the force applied on a body changes its size or shape. For that, I'm explaining this concept by using another example that is nothing but stretching a rubber string. So stretching a rubber string, you consider children, this is nothing but a rubber string. Understood? This is nothing but a rubber string. This is nothing but initial condition. Initial condition. Okay. Now you are just stretching this particular rubber string. You are just stretching this rubber string. That stretching is happening like this. This much you are stretched. Understood? This is nothing but you are stretching. So what happened, children? During this condition, what happened? Stretching means you applied force in this direction. Am I right? Force in this direction. And also there is change in size or shape. Am I right? So I can say this particular body has done work. Understood? So I can say that this particular body has done work. So work is done. So what is the conclusion from this, children? I can say two conditions for work done. The first one is nothing but when a body, when you apply a particular force on a body and that particular body is moving, I can say that work is done. Second condition is nothing but you are applying force towards a body and that body is changing its size and shape. That also you guys can say that work is done. Any doubts in this? Is it okay? Is it okay? Yes, children. So listen carefully. So you guys understood the two conditions. So I'm revising that explanation. So what are the cases of work done? The first case is nothing but you should apply a force and that force will lead to change in motion. Understood? That body should take motion. Second condition is nothing but you should apply force and there should be change in size or shape. Any doubts in this? So these are the conditions. Yes. So children, so we discuss all the conditions to explain what do you mean by work is done, isn't it? What do you mean by work? How can I say work is done by a particular body? Everything we discussed. Now, children, sir, to introduce the certain condition which we consider no work is done. Understood? No work is done. If there is no work, if there is no change in position or no motion after applying a force, applying force. Listen carefully. I already told you one example, isn't it? That example is nothing but when I apply a lot of force to push this particular wall, what happened? Whether the wall will be moving? No. See, I told you 100 or 1000 Newton force you are applying here to push this particular wall. Force is there, but there is no work done. There is no motion to this wall, isn't it? So I can say that the work what I've done is nothing but failure, isn't it? The work what I've done is not equal. Am I right? So I can say no work is done. So children, in physics, if you want to say work is done, there should be a motion or change in shape or size, or the force also should act. Understood? So when I push this particular wall, what is happening? I'm at force, but there is no change in motion. Understood? There is no change shape or size, and there is no change in motion. Force is the no motion. So I can say no work is done. Another example I'm telling children. A coolie standing box on his head does no work. Children, this is the topic which confuse all the 8th standard students. When this question asks for your exam, many people write work is done. Some people were work is not done. Reason I'll tell you, children. See, a coolie standing with a box on his head does no work. Children, you consider this little box. You consider me as a coolie. I'm carrying this particular box on my head. Understood? I'm just standing like this. So, children, when I carry this particular box like this, there is force. Force is there, but there is no motion. Am I right? They explain perfectly. Coolie is standing with the box on his head. If that coolie is moving, then you can say the coolie has done work because Under that condition, there is force and motion. When a coolie is standing with this box, what happened? There is force, isn't it? There is force applied. This coolie has applied force on this box, but there is no motion. But when a coolie is carrying the box and walking, that means work is done. Understood, everyone? When he is standing, no work is done because only force is acting, no motion. When the coolie is moving with the box, that means force also is there, also work is done. Understood? Second example, a boy pushing a heavy stone does no work. You guys can understand. It is similar to the condition of the wall. Force is the no work done. Any doubts? Is it okay? Yes. So listen carefully now. Now we are going to talk about the conditions for work to be done. Still now we were discussing all the examples of work done, isn't it? Whatever examples we discussed for work done, we done. Though we done already another examples for no work is done, isn't it? So all these things we are going to conclude now. So what are the necessary conditions for work to be done? The first condition is nothing but a force must act on the body. The first condition is nothing but a force should act on the body. Understood? Otherwise, simply the body will take motion. No force is acting. Any body will take motion. No, it's not possible, isn't it? So a body will take motion until force is applied. Understood? When a particular force is applied towards a body, then only that particular body will undergo motion. So first condition understood, force must act on the body. What is the second condition for work to be done? That force must produce change in position. Understood? You are applying a particular force to a body, and that particular body should move to certain distance. That means there should be motion of the body, or there should be change in size or shape of the body. I hope children, you understood what are the conditions needed for work to be done. The first condition is nothing but a force should act on the body, and that particular force should produce motion on that particular body. That means it should be change in size or shape of the body is also possible. Toothpaste example, your real life example I already given, isn't it? Am I right? Don't kill your toothpaste, okay? Yes, next one. Next one. Factors. Factors affecting. Factors affecting the amount of work. The factors affecting the amount of work done. So this topic we'll discuss next class. So thank you children. Have a nice day.